Here is a statistic that I think about a lot. Nearly 20% of higher income households in the UK and US are still living month to month. Not people on low wages, not people in financial hardship, people earning good money, comfortable salaries. Still, one expected bill away from a problem. And separately, almost 40% of people believe they will simply never become wealthy. Not that it will be hard, that it will never happen at all. These two statistics together tell us something important. Building wealth is not primarily an income problem. If it were, high earners would be wealthy. They're not. If it were, earning would or more would be the answer. It isn't. So what is it? In this video, I'm going to walk through the real reasons most people never build wealth. Not to make you feel bad, not to lecture you, but because once you can see the pattern clearly, you can choose to break it. Before we continue, just a simple reminder. I am not a financial advisor. This content is for educational purposes. It's not financial advice. Always do your own research or speak to a qualified professional before making investment decisions. The first and most fundamental reason is this. Most people spend their income first and save or invest whatever is left at the end of the month. And at the end of the month, there's almost never anything left. This is not a willpower failure, it is a system failure. When money sits in your current account, it gets spent. That is human nature. Lifestyle expands to fill available income. Psychologists call it lifestyle inflation. Most people experience it without ever naming it. The people who build wealth do something structurally different. They pay themselves first. On the day their salary lands, a fixed amount moves automatically into savings or investments before they ever see it. Not whatever is left. A predetermined amount first. Every time. This single structural change, not a mindset shift, not a budget spreadsheet, just a direct debit timed to your pay date, is responsible for more wealth built by ordinary people than any other single habit. The question is not whether you can afford to invest. The question is whether you are willing to structure your finances so that investing happens automatically, before spending gets the chance. The second reason is more uncomfortable to talk about. Most people are unconsciously optimizing for looking wealthy, rather than building it. The new car on finance, the holidays posted on Instagram, the kitchen renovation, the wardrobe upgrade. None of these are wrong choices in isolation, but collectively they represent a stream of capital that could have been compounding for 20 years. Being spent instead to project an image of success. There is a deeply counterintuitive truth about genuinely wealthy people. The majority of people in the UK with significant investable assets do not look the part. They drive ordinary cars. They live in modest homes relative to their net worth. They are not the people you assume are wealthy based on what they spend. Because they understood something early. Every pound spent on looking wealthy is a pound that cannot work for you. This is not about living like a monk. It is not about depriving yourself. It is about being honest with yourself about which spending serves your future self and which spending serves your ego. The car that costs you £400 a month on finance, invested for 20 years at 8%, is worth approximately £240,000. That is the true cost of the car, not the monthly payment, the compound future value of that monthly payment. Most people never do that maths. The ones who do make very different decisions. The third reason will be familiar to many of you. They wait. They plan to start investing when they understand it better. When life settles down, when there's more money, when the time is right. We covered this in detail in the video on timing the market, but it bears repeating here because in the context of wealth building, waiting is not neutral. Waiting is expensive. Every year of delay is not just a year without returns. It is a year that reduces the compounding runway for every pound you eventually invest. The person who starts at 25 and invests for 30 years does not just have slightly more than the person who starts at 35 and invests for 20 years. They have approximately double. Not because they invested more money, because they gave compound growth 10 extra years to work. The knowledge gap is real, and it matters. Education is valuable, but the most important thing you can learn about investing, you learn by doing it, by watching your portfolio through a market dip, by experiencing the pull to sell and choosing to stay. That emotional education cannot come from any video or article. You do not need to know everything to start. You need to know enough to take the first step, and then the doing teaches you the rest. The fourth reason is rooted in psychology. Human beings are wired to fear losses far more intensely than they are to value equivalent gains. Psychologists call this loss aversion, and it is one of the most powerful forces keeping people out of the market. The thought of investing £1,000 and watching it drop to £800 feels intolerable, even though the alternative, keeping it in a savings account, losing purchasing power to inflation every year, is a certain, slow, invisible loss. The market drop feels dangerous because it is visible and immediate. Inflation feels safe because it is invisible and gradual. But the data is unambiguous. Over any 25-year period in modern market history, a diversified global portfolio has produced positive returns. The short-term volatility that feels so dangerous is noise when viewed against a long enough timeline. The people who build wealth understand this intellectually, and more importantly, they have trained themselves to feel it. They have been through the dips. They have sat with the discomfort. They have stayed. And every time they stayed, the market rewarded their patience. The fear of losing is not irrational, but it is pointing at the wrong risk. The real risk is not the visible market drop. The real risk is the invisible certainty of never building anything at all. Fifth reason, and this is the one that ties everything else together. Most people treat investing as a decision they make each month. Did I have enough left over? Did the market look okay? Did life allow it this time? Every decision is a friction point, and friction is the enemy of consistency. Life will always find a way to use money that is available. An unexpected expense, a social occasion, a tempting purchase, a moment of anxiety about the market. The people who build wealth do not rely on willpower or good intentions. They build systems that make the right behavior the default. Salary lands, direct debit fires. Money moves into ISA before the brain has a chance to spend it. No decision required, no willpower consumed, no monthly negotiation with yourself. Automation is not a hack or a shortcut. It is the recognition that human behavior is unreliable under pressure, and that the solution is to remove that pressure entirely. Set it up once, let it run, check in quarterly at most. That is the entire system. So what does the person who does build wealth actually look like? They are not necessarily higher earners. They are not necessarily better educated about finance. They are not luckier. They do 5 things differently. They pay themselves first. Investment happens before spending, not after. They optimize for building wealth over looking wealthy. Their balance sheet matters more than their appearance. They start before they feel ready, because readiness is largely a feeling that never fully arrives. They feel the fear and invest anyway, because they understand the real risk is inaction, not volatility. They make it automatic, because they trust systems more than they trust their own discipline under pressure. None of these are extraordinary qualities. They are ordinary decisions made consistently over a long period of time. That is the honest secret to building wealth. Not timing the market, not finding the right stock, not earning a higher salary. Ordinary behavior, done consistently over time. If you recognize yourself in any of these 5 reasons, you are not unusual. You are the majority. Most people are doing most of these things most of the time. Not because they are lazy or irresponsible, because nobody showed them a different way. The good news is that every single one of these is changeable. Not all at once, not overnight, but one direct debit, one automated contribution, one decision to start before you feel ready. That is how it begins for everyone who eventually gets there. If you want a clear, structured path for taking that first step, my full beginners video course covers everything from learning all the key stock market concepts, choosing a platform, to opening stocks and shares ISA, to making your first investment from scratch. Simple, clear, built for people who are starting from zero. The link is in the description, or check out the website. If you think you will find this content useful, consider subscribing. I regularly post new investing topics every week. And drop a comment below which of these 5 reasons resonates most with you. Your comments will probably shape a future video. So until next time, take care.